So 2b plus c times h. The issue though is with our cylinder, our base, the area of the base, our base is going to be a circle. So the base of a cylinder is a circle. So like picture a can of soda, like our water bottles, those are cylinders. So the area of the base is going to be pi r squared. And then rather than using P, instead of using the perimeter, they use C because that's the circumference. Which is 2 pi r. And technically the circumference is just the perimeter of a circle. And then a reminder that h is still just the height of the sphere. Or not sphere, cylinder. I do want to include, just so we don't forget, that we should be doing units squared for this. So like I said, we're not going to do the oblique prisms or cylinders today. I can't remember if we'll get into them in this, like I said, I'm getting mixed up between this book and other books I've taught out of. So we'll kind of wait on that one. In example 4, it says the world's largest beverage can was a cylinder with a height of 4.67 meters and a diameter of 2.3 meters. What's the surface area of the can to the nearest 10th? So world's largest beverage can, so picture almost like a silo standing out like in someone's yard or in a business parking lot or something like that. So it is a cylinder, and so we're going to sketch this. I think cylinders are one of the easier ones to sketch, so we kind of do like a little oval. And I don't know if this is still true. I have this, I don't know if this was ever true, if I just made it up. It was. Yeah, so the height of 4.67 meters would be the height of the can. Now meters, about 3 meters in a foot, so we're saying that it's over 12 feet tall. The diameter is 2.32 meters. That's all the way across. That's the diameter. Now in our formula, we should be using the radius. So we're going to cut the diameter in half to get that radius. So we want to make sure we get the radius out of there. So before I get too far into the problem, I'm going to talk about the radius. So again, our formula is 2 times the base, area of the base, plus the circumference times the height. So the base is pi r squared. So we have to put that r in, square it, multiply it by pi. And it says to the nearest 10th, but that's at the very end of the problem. So I'm going to try to be work with more decimals rather than less. And again, for pi, please use the pi symbol, don't use 3.14. So I get for my area of my base, like 4.227. And again, you might say, well, no, they said to round to the tenths. That's not till the very end. So we're going to stick with more decimal places right now. So that's our base. Our circumference is 2 pi r. So there's our circumference, 7.288. And so now I'm just going to put all of those into our formula. And yeah, like kind of like Lily was talking about with her homework quiz, that it's really easy to like just put something in wrong, type it into your calculator wrong, maybe like a double check of things, just checking that you know, kind of transferred everything over correctly. Bless you.
Thank you.
So 4/9, so that would round up to 42.5. And that would be meters squared. And again, that's the outside of the shape. So if I wanted to paint or cover the whole outside with a tarp or with something, I needed to know how much it would take to cover it, we would figure out that surface area. Questions there? All right, when you guys are ready, we'll look at the bottom question. And this one kind of, you kind of had some questions like this last time. I know I had a few students ask about it. It was the last couple where you're missing a piece of data. They give you almost everything but one part of it, and you have to kind of undo the problem. So we'll talk about how to do that when you are ready. So in this next one, they don't tell us the height, but they tell us the surface area, and they're telling us the radius. So they're giving us some information already, so I'm going to kind of fill in what I can figure out here. So surface area is 2b plus ch. Now we obviously don't know h, that's missing there. But b is the area of the base, which I should be able to figure out as pi r squared. So I'm going to be able to put a lot of this information in here, because they tell me that s as well, so this is s. They give me that information. So again, kind of trying to be a little bit more, like more decimals is a little bit better in my opinion. Now this c is 2 pi r. And now we're going to take all of that and put it into our equation. So my s is 262.64. 2 times my b plus my c times my h. Now this becomes an algebra problem. I'm going to do some simplifying first. So I'm going to multiply the 2 times the base first. Now, don't let all the decimals kind of overwhelm you here. I want to remind you guys, this is the same thing as if I was solving an equation that looked like this. So if I had, let's just go 2 equals 9 plus 2x. You wouldn't put the 9 and the 2 together here, so we don't want to add those decimals together. We have to undo this algebra problem. So what's going to be our next step in this green problem here? Yep. Yeah, we have to move that 90 over, and sometimes when we get kind of more complex, like numbers, we kind of get, I think, overwhelmed and kind of do things we shouldn't do, so we're going to subtract this over, because it's being added to the term with the variable there. And now I'm left with something being multiplied by h, so instead I'm going to divide by that number. And I end up with h being 7.2. And again, this is centimeters. And if you look at the drawing, I mean, your drawing may not be perfect, or the drawing they give us might not be perfect, but that seems reasonable based off of what I can see there. All right, so essentially what we're we're doing is we're doing the opposite of what I wrote to Skip yesterday. We're doing those, so we're gonna switch that up. So we're gonna do numbers 3, 9 through 12, and then also 14.